Hello out there to the wonderful world of YouTube. After getting some interest on Facebook, I figured that I would go ahead and document this build. This is a 2001 TL1000R that I am currently turbocharging. It's going to be running a Garrett T25 turbo. Unknown PSI at this point. I'm just gonna build it and see what it can handle. I do plan on running it on 91 pump with a methanol injection system. So just because E85 in my area is not exactly the most easiest thing to come by, and doing it for convenience. So far, I do have some stuff done with the bike, even though it doesn't look like it at the moment. I have made a new ECU tray, as well as shorten the harness. I wanted it to be as clean as humanly possible, and I also need the space underneath it for the piping. I have replaced the factory rear suspension. The factory rear suspension comes with basically a spring on a stick, which goes in this location, and then a rotary dampener, kind of like a steering stabilizer, just on a much bigger scale. This is a replacement off of a 1997 Honda F3. It is a monoshock, so I do have a remote reservoir. At the moment, it's being held on by zip ties as I'm still fabricating everything. Since I did mention methanol, it will be running a methanol injection system, which I have the pump and everything right here. The pump will end up being mounted right in this area here, something like that. Then the reservoir is going to be the radiator coolant bottle, which mounts right here. I am going to end up planning on replacing that with another type of reservoir of some kind, probably going to mount somewhere in this area since there's still plenty of room. The exhaust system will be ran off of the factory type locations. It's going to come out from underneath here, which is where it comes out from the factory. Going to follow underneath the bike. It's going to come up through the swing arm, and then, of course, go up through the subframe and enter into there. The charge pipe system, go ahead and mount this on. It's still kind of loose since I'm still fabricating stuff here. There we go. As you see, that is pointed straight down. So I'm going to have a 90-degree elbow. That's going to run off here. And then it's going to come down this way, and I'm going to have a blow-off valve that sits right there. Going to the engine, it's going to go through the frame itself. Here is my little flashlight tube. This diameter at the knurled edges is 1.5 inches. So what I'm going to end up doing is using a 1.5 inch inner diameter piping, and it's going to fit right here through the frame just like that. You can see it poking out the other side. The rest of the piping is going to be ran down and then up the subframe like this into a air box that I will be fabricating. It's going to run an adjustable fuel pressure regulator that's going to sit right here on these two tabs I ended up drilling and then putting threads in. It's all going to be 6AN braided line to the rails. They sit right here normally. I got the throttle bodies out. And then it's going to run up. The return is going to be 4AN back to the tank. It's going to be running a 255 Whirlpool pump as well. So fuel delivery will have no issue. I'm going to run 2 gauges up front. I'm going to have a wideband O2 sensor or gauge sitting right here. And then I'm going to have the boost gauge sitting in the opposite side, kind of kneaded up right in that area. Kind of like the new Hayabusas, actually, how they have the 2 big gauges and then they have the small ones in the side. So it'll be pretty clean after it's all said and done. As far as the front suspension goes, I do plan on upgrading the front suspension. I'm going to go to a 2009 to 2007 front Hayabusa fork. The fork diameters and lengths and everything are the same. The only difference is the spring rate. It's a little bit softer, which is okay with me. This bike isn't really going to be made for knee dragging or anything like that. It's a straight line bike slash just having fun type of deal. The calipers, I already rebuilt the calipers and repainted them just to make them look nice. And then that's the factory exhaust that I've already cut up that I'm going to be starting to weld. So basically, if you're looking underneath the engine, it sits kind of like that. So this pipe will come up and be welded into here, and then I'm going to have a 1 3/4 inch V-band that's going to be welded onto this part. Just so that way, if I need to take apart anything, it's not going to be all one big solid mount for maintenance or during the fabrication process. Everything's going to be heat wrapped. And on top of all of that, this will be a full fairing bike. The way that the turbo is set up at the moment, I actually can fit on the rear plastics, as well as the factory seat and the factory rear seat. So if I do want to run a passenger with me, at least I'm keeping that option open. So as far as that goes, at the moment, that's where it's at. I do have parts on order, which will be in next week. And I am hoping to be able to start the exhaust side here pretty shortly. And get that at least started. And of course, the cold side as well. The wastegate is going to end up going somewhere in this area right here. Since the exhaust pipe is going to come up right in this area and then make the bend to go in, I'm going to mount the wastegate right here, and I think I'm going to have like a really, a nice stainless steel pipe run along the swing arm. And over time, of course, via running it and stuff like that, it will get that nice, stainless steel tint to it. So I think that's going to be a pretty nice addition. The only thing that I have not decided yet is if I want to run an extended swing arm. Roaring Toys makes a really nice bolt-on 8-inch extension that I haven't quite decided if I want to run it or not. There is a gentleman that has built 2 of these, and his last rear mount setup running similar type deals made over 200 horsepower, but he was on E85. So I'm not exactly sure if the motor is going to be able to withstand the 91 pump with the methanol. So just in case, I'm going to end up budgeting for a new motor in case that happens. But obviously, I got to get it built first. Fuel injectors are going to be run off of a Subaru WRX. They are actually plug-and-play injectors. Same exact injector pins and the whole 9 yards, same length. They bolt right in. Computer-wise, the factory computer will control all of the ignition timing and anything related to that. I will be getting a PC Power Commander 5 with the PTI, which is the integrated boost reference settings. So I'll have an actual boost sensor in the actual plenum that I'll end up fabricating for it. So that way I'll be able to tune the injectors using that setup. So if you are interested in following this build, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. And as I make progress on it, I will be updating it as fast as I make progress. Thank you guys for watching, and y'all have a good evening.